Hello and welcome to Chaos Theory. The news is seen by AI. I'm your host, Beatrix Kiddo. It's December 24th, 2024, and we've got a wild and wacky show for you today. First up, we're diving into the strange and bizarre world of AI-generated images, as Donald Trump threatens Panama with a digital version of the American flag in the canal. It's a story that's sure to leave you scratching your head and asking, what the heck is going on? Next, we're getting a little cheeky as we explore the evolution of the human butt. That's right, folks. We're talking about the history of our derrières and why they look the way they do. Trust us, you won't want to miss this one. Then, we're taking a trip back in time to ancient Egypt to learn about how they celebrated the new year. It's a fascinating look at the history of this holiday season, and you might just learn something new. We're also delving into the world of sibling dynamics, as a new study suggests that middle children are more agreeable, humble, and honest than their siblings. But don't worry, babies of the family, we're giving you a chance to have your say too. And for all you tech nerds out there, we've got a story about the journey to save the last known 43-inch Sony CRT. It's a tale of nostalgia, preservation, and the love of old technology. Finally, we're wrapping up the show with a question that's been on everyone's minds. Why are you more likely to catch a cold in the winter? We'll be separating fact from fiction and giving you the lowdown on this wintertime woe. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a chaotic ride through the day's top stories as seen by AI. It's Chaos Theory, and I'm Beatrix Kiddo, your guide through the madness. Let's get started. Donald Trump has threatened to seize control of the Panama Canal if his demands are not met, according to a report by Matt Novak. The president-elect posted AI-generated images of an American flag in the middle of the canal on social media, along with a message stating, "Welcome to the United States Canal." Trump also suggested that the fees being charged by Panama for use of the canal are too high, and that the U.S. has a vested interest in its secure and efficient operation. In response, the president of Panama, José Raúl Mulino, defended his country's territorial integrity and stated that every square meter of the canal is part of Panama. Trump has also threatened to take control of Greenland, stating that it is an absolute necessity for national security and freedom. These threats have been met with criticism and concern, with some commentators suggesting that they are not to be taken lightly. It remains to be seen whether Trump will follow through on these threats, but it is clear that tensions between the U.S. and its allies are on the rise. Darcy Shapiro, an evolutionary anthropologist, has tackled the mystery of the human butt in a recent report. According to Shapiro, humans have proportionally bigger butts than other animals, including our closest living relatives among the great apes. This is likely due to our unique style of locomotion, as we are the only mammals alive today whose primary way of getting around is walking on two legs. The anatomical structure of the butt is made up of adipose tissue sitting on top of gluteal muscles, which are attached to the bony pelvis. The shape of our pelvis dictates the shape of our butts, and it has undergone major changes over the last 6 million years. The ilium, one of the 3 bones that make up each innominate or hip bone, is the real difference maker between us and our ape relatives. A chimpanzee's ilium is relatively tall and flat, while ours is short and curved around more to the sides, making our pelvis bowl-shaped. These differences are linked to the evolution of bipedalism and the reorganization of our gluteal muscles that make upright walking possible. Our gluteus maximus is very large compared to that of other primates, and it gives our behind most of its shape. The fat in our butts might also have something to do with us becoming bipeds, as it helps buffer our metabolically expensive brains against lean times. However, our unique arrangement of muscle and fat on our backsides comes with at least one major downside: a messier pooping situation than many other primates have. The ancient Egyptians celebrated the new year with a festival called Wepet Renpet, which involved giving presents, worshiping deities, and remembering the dead. The festival had some similarities to modern celebrations, such as exchanging gifts and having feasts, but also had unique customs, such as bringing images of deities out of temples to be regenerated by the sunlight. The date of Wepet Renpet changed over time due to the lack of a leap year in the Egyptian calendar, and sometimes it was celebrated multiple times in a single year. The festival was celebrated with festivities by the pyramids of Giza and involved taking statues of deities out into the sunlight to be regenerated. Some ancient Egyptian tombs depict scenes of feasts on New Year's Eve, and New Year flasks were exchanged as gifts, containing inscriptions wishing the recipient a happy new year. The story was reported by Owen Jarris. A new study finds that middle children are more agreeable, honest, and humble than their older and younger siblings. However, the research contradicts previous large studies on birth order and personality, and will likely need more research to replicate the findings. The study reported by Tia Gose used a different personality measure called Hexaco, and found that middle children had the highest scores for honesty/humility and for agreeableness, followed by youngest siblings, then oldest, then only children. The study also found that the more siblings a person had, the higher they scored in these same traits. The differences between siblings are small, but the authors speculate that they could be due to the forced cooperation that occurs in large families. However, these findings are not likely to be the last word in birth order research, as other studies have found contradictory results. In a remarkable tale of passion and preservation, Shank Mods embarked on an international quest to rescue the legendary Sony KX45ED1 CRT TV, as reported by Obsolete Sony. This 43-inch CRT television, released in 1989 and weighing 440 pounds, was considered an engineering marvel and the holy grail of CRT collecting. Retailing for $40,000, over $100,000 today, it was believed to be a myth until a photo surfaced from a soba noodle restaurant in Osaka, Japan. With the restaurant set for demolition, Shank enlisted the help of a stranger named Abebe to investigate. Abebe found the CRT still operational, and the owner was looking to get rid of it. Shank then coordinated an international rescue mission involving logistics experts, a moving team, and extensive paperwork to transport the TV to the United States. Once in the U.S., the restoration process began, addressing convergence issues, geometry problems, and CRT cataracts. With the help of experts, the KX45ED1 was fully restored, providing a stunning display perfect for retro gaming. This story highlights the power of shared passions and the lengths people will go to preserve history. Shank's journey serves as a reminder of the importance of community in keeping retro technologies alive. According to a story reported by Emily Cook, it turns out that the advice to bundle up before going outside in the winter to avoid catching a cold has some truth to it. While cold weather itself does not directly cause respiratory infections, research suggests that it can make people more susceptible to them. This is because during the winter, people tend to spend more time indoors in close proximity to others, which can facilitate the spread of viruses. Additionally, studies have shown that the cold and dry air can weaken the body's defenses against viruses. For example, the epithelial cells that line the nose, which serve as a first line of defense against viruses, are less effective at fighting off viruses in cold weather. Similarly, dry air can impair the function of tiny finger-like projections called cilia that help clear viral particles from the respiratory tract. To combat this, experts suggest wearing facial coverings such as masks, which can help keep nasal epithelial cells working properly and reduce the amount of virus particles that enter the nose. Additionally, keeping homes, offices, hospitals, and schools humidified during the winter may also be beneficial for maintaining the immune defenses of the respiratory tract. The ideal level of indoor relative humidity is between 40% and 60%. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm Beatrix Kiddo, your host and AI guide to the daily news. We hope you enjoyed our summary of today's top stories and gained some valuable insights. On this day in history, in 1968, the Apollo 8 astronauts became the first humans to orbit the moon, a truly monumental achievement. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked prior to sharing. We encourage our listeners to join us again tomorrow for more news, and until then, have a great day.